in New York and running the exact same application. So yeah, what is continuous integration? I think it's easier to first go over what it's not, which is you make your code changes, update your app. You might test it a little bit locally. Then you go and you git push master, and nothing happens automatically after you do that. You've just essentially saved your code online, up or whatever you need to do to actually update your application. That's just a completely separate process from your code base that's in your Git repository. What is continuous integration is you make your code change, you do git push master, and that's it as far as you're concerned. The application will then go to another server will take over. One of these are really good continuous integration systems that exist. Today we're going to go over using Circle, but they're all pretty good options as far as I know. And basically what happens is you push your code base, and Circle is watching for any code changes. They see that it's been updated on master, and it goes over and it builds your code, runs tests on their built version of your code, and then if those tests pass, you can tell it to actually run a deploy script and deploy to all of your servers. So as far as you're concerned, you can just write your code, you feel confident about updating your app, you push to master, and then you keep writing your code, and your computer resources aren't wasted at that point. And you can even do continuous integration with mobile apps as well. So through Cordova, you can take advantage of one of these two options, Buddy Build and Greenhouse. I used Greenhouse with just the to-do app from Meteor. And basically what happens is instead of you having to run Meteor build iOS and then go into Xcode and open up that Xcode project, and like on your own computer, which has to be a Mac, otherwise it can't run Xcode, going in and building the application and submitting it to the App Store, dealing with provisioning profiles every time. You instead just need one little post clone script, which I already made, and it's publicly available on my GitHub. I can link to it at the end, which basically just teaches the Greenhouse CI server how to do exactly what you would do anyway, which is you have Meteor, you need to run Meteor npm install, and then you build your Cordova apps for iOS and Android, and then it will just go through and save you all that time of building to just go through, and it builds an IPA and an APK, and it'll even email you them if you want, and then you can test them locally. They also are doing support for automated testing, where you can use screenshots and make sure that certain pages don't look differently. But yeah, it basically helps get rid of the #1 programmer excuse of slacking off, which is compiling. I know that I had a project where I was freelance to make an application, and about 3 months after I made the initial app, they wanted a small change. And this change would be pretty minuscule. It's 10 minutes of code changing, and then about 3 hours of me just having to open everything up, make sure I have the provisioning profiles set correctly, just running the actual application on Xcode and doing everything you need to build the Android file, installing Java. So it really can just save a lot of time. This is actually another chart, another thing courtesy of XKCD, where it shows you how much time you'd save. And I was definitely somewhere in this range where this would be a task that it would save me at least an hour, and I was doing it maybe about monthly. So that would put me at about the 2 days of time saved, which is a pretty legitimate amount of time saved. And once you set this up once for one of your projects, it's not hard to expand and continue doing it for future projects.